I haven't been able to be in a relationship with a guy who deserves me. I've been in a few relationships, but none of them lasted long enough to lead to something serious. I broke up with my boyfriend recently. The reason was I caught him cheating, as in, this was live action. It happened like it does in the movies where you see shirts, trousers, shoes, and undies on the floor. You see, my boyfriend was caught in the act with his so-called personal assistant. I just had to end the relationship at that point. I've come to understand that men will always cheat. That moment a man starts cheating, he'll never be able to stop. He'd want to stick his magic stick into anything that wears skirts. I was so in love with this guy, but he just had to break my heart. So I had to take a break. I called Rachel, my close friend in Port Harcourt, and narrated all that had happened. She felt really sorry for me though, and told me to come stay with her for a few days till I'm emotionally stable. So I did. I packed my bag and headed to Port Harcourt. She came to pick me up at the airport with a guy. I was eager to know who he was. When we got home, I asked about the guy. She told me he's her fiancé and that he'd be getting married to her later on in the year. While I was there, she took really good care of me and attended to my every need. She told me to stay as long as I needed to, but I told her I can't stay, but I'd only be there for just about a week. So she agreed. While I was there, I noticed how dirty the house was. Everything was out of place. The room had this strong stench. It actually took a lot for me to sleep because I wasn't used to being in a filthy place. Don't get me wrong, the house itself is actually very beautiful, but it is always scattered dirty and it smelled really bad. The next day, my friend Rachel went to see her mom and her fiancé Peter left for work. I was bored. I tried to have a good time, but I just couldn't. The house was so filthy, so I did what I do best when I'm bored. I cleaned. I tidied everywhere. The kitchen, the bathroom, the rooms. And at about 4 p.m., Peter, that's my friend's fiancé, returned. I greeted him. He responded and he asked me who cleaned up the house. I told him, "It's me." He was surprised. He thanked me and went into his room. At about 4:30, I told him I had to go see an old friend, so I left for my friend's house. Around 7 p.m., I headed back to Rachel's house. On getting there, I heard loud noises. Peter and Rachel were having a heated argument, and my name was mentioned a lot. And so I listened closely. While eavesdropping into the argument, I got to find out that Rachel had never, even for a day, cleaned his house. All she does is collect money from him, scatter the house and leave dirty plates for him to wash. Unfortunately, he said he doesn't want to marry her anymore because he's yet to see the value she'll bring to the home. This argument went on for hours. She begged him over and over again, but he said he couldn't take her back. She came out of the room with her bags and tears in her eyes. She said nothing to me, called a cab, and told me she's leaving and I should enjoy my new home. As she was leaving, I quickly grabbed my bag and left with her. I apologized for cleaning the house and making her man end things with her, but she said nothing. She dropped me off at the airport and I headed back to Lagos. I kept on trying to reach her, but she never picked up the phone. And when she eventually picked up, she told me that the aim of my coming to Port Harcourt was to destroy her relationship. My head almost exploded into little bits when I heard this. I wanted to give her a piece of my mind, but I knew I'll do more harm than good. I got a call from an unknown number. It was Peter, Rachel's ex-fiancé. He told me he's been thinking about me a lot and that he has never met a girl like me before. He kept on referring to me as the total package. He was a funny guy. I told him I can't continue speaking with him and that I can't hurt my friend. Either way, he told me to forget about Rachel, that there's nothing in this life that will ever make him marry her. He was tired of being the one to cook, clean, and care for her while all she ever did was watch movies and ask for money to go shopping. He said he could never get married to such a woman. Over time, he and I got to speak to each other more often, and as fate would have it, we fell in love with each other. He proposed to me just a few months after we got together. I so wanted to tell Rachel all that had happened, but he told me not to. But I did anyway. Rachel cried, cursed, and insulted me. But all this wouldn't change the fact that I was finally with a man who deserved me. Oh well, I guess life has a beautiful, crazy design.